Concerto Grosso per I New Trolls can be considered the first Italian progressive rock album, and a commercially successful attempt to marry Baroque music and classic rock. Well, this is a review of that LP. Is the album still worth a listen after more than 55 years? Does the music still speak for itself, or is it just an historical curiosity?
You tell me.
Hello, top hatters and newcomers. This is Simon Mas, your friend with a master's degree in music and a very early morning review to make. But no matter, just bear with me if I'm less energetic than usual. Now, if you want the algorithm overlords to share this video with other viewers, put a like down there and comment. Tell me what you think about the album. But right now, let's get down to business. I'm gonna give you my 2 pence worth. As I told you in the video telling you the story of how the album was conceived and put together, the idea was to have a concerto grosso. A concerto grosso is basically a Baroque music form where an orchestra is pit against a small group of soloists. In this case, the orchestra, and the main idea for the album was by Bacalov, an Argentinian composer who lived in Italy. He provided the orchestra, the main themes heard in the first half of the album, the classical arrangements. And then you have New Trolls, a rock band that served as a counterpoint to the classical elements as soloists and as troublemakers. The album starts with Allegro. Immediately you have the orchestra versus Jethro Tull. Wait, what? I can almost hear you wondering, what the f is Ian Anderson doing on this record? Well, it's not Ian Anderson. That's Vittorio Descalzi, rhythm guitarist and singer of the band, who had a slight infatuation for the work of Ian Anderson, as you might have told. To a modern listener, it is a bit embarrassing, I've gotta say, but again, we're listening to this 55 years after the fact. What about the rest of the track? The guitar work is really interesting. You can tell that Scalzi and Di Paolo were really into their Jimi Hendrix, but here the influence is a bit more tasteful. In a sense, this piece, Allegro, shows us the potential of the suite. Adagio, shadows. For me, this is where you get the bang for your money. The piece is sung in English, showing that New Trolls and Bacalov had an international audience in mind. The choirs provided by New Trolls they're not even Beatles-like, they're really Italian.
Waiting for the sun to shine again.
I can think Italian pop like Cugini di Campagna or Ricchi e Poveri, that sort of thing really. You get that kind of wall of voices. Well, it is a little wall since it's just 4 singers, but you get the idea. And the music does have some very Italian component to it as well. Compared to a British counterpart, it's much more melodramatic, it's much more melancholic. You don't hear that kind of chord changes and sonorities in a British record. Not usually, anyway.
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't hear it anyway, maybe it's just my ears. Drop me a line and tell me what you think. Cadenza, Andante con Moto, is the 3rd movement of the Concerto Grosso. The lion's share of the music is played by the orchestra here. In fact, the solo parts are performed by a violin for most of the track. I guess Bacalov told New Trolls to just behave. The band doesn't start playing immediately with the orchestra, it just chimes in later. And I especially like the kind of duet between the violin and the drums. by the end of the track, New Trolls are allowed to sing again, connecting Cadenza with Adagio Shadows. It's the same melodic material, the same lyrics. Shadow per Jimi Hendrix concludes Concerto Grosso. New Trolls take elements from Adagio Shadows, enrich them, and stretch them out into a fourth movement that is in fact a dirge for Jimi Hendrix's death. You can tell Di Paolo, who has most of the solo spots in here, has made his homework. The influence of Jimi Hendrix is obvious. There are other elements that really don't sound like the Jimi Hendrix experience. Not only the choirs that sound really Italian pop, but also the melody, the way of singing. It's really sweet, longing.
To die, to sleep.
It's not Hendrix by any stretch of imagination, but I think Jimi would have found this groovy. Nella, Sala, Vuota concludes most versions of Concerto Grosso per i New Trolls, and it fits the entire side B of the vinyl record. It's basically a 20-minute long jam session that New Trolls put together in the empty room, hence the title, of the Fonicetra studio in Milan to just make sure that they had enough material to complete this damned LP and put it out in the market. The band was used by this time to include long jam sessions in their concerts. So while the music was not scripted at all, well, when you're used to improvise with other people night after night, you kind of learn to read what they are going to do. It becomes easier. There are really good ideas, really nice spots given to each band member. Gianni Belleno, for example, goes on an extended solo exploration of his drum kit. New Trolls did play all the cards they had up their sleeve to make sure to have enough material to conclude the side and the record, which led Bacalov to say, years later, that some of the music is just a filler. I personally disagree. I find this piece interesting because it shows the various souls of New Trolls. You get pop, you get hard rock, you get some jazzy passages, you get the band playing together, and you get solo sections. It's like New Trolls were bearing their musical souls out for you to see. I don't care if some of the material is a bit of a filler, the overall result is very good. What more is there to say? Let me spend a word for Giorgio D'Adamo bass playing. What I like best, it's the guy's sound. What you get here is a really good rock bass sound. It's very powerful without being overpowering. It's punchy, it's grounding. It gives a punch to the whole music, holding it up. So, what's my final judgment? Is this album worth your while? Well, of course, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it, right? There are some bits that are a bit dated, some, as I said, embarrassing moment when Ian Anderson seems to chime in, but overall this is a very solid record. But before you go on to give it a listen, hear me out for a second. If you want to make sure that other people check this video out, please share it with your friends, leave a like, give me a comment, you know the drill. If instead you can share even a little tiny amount of money, you can give me a donation with this PayPal account. Even a penny will give me a morale boost and will help me bringing you more and better videos. So remember, if this video made your day, Give old Simon what you may. Okay, top hatters, time to go and have my breakfast. This was your Simon Mas. Stick around for more music-related content. For the moment, stay cool and keep your top hat on. Bye!